alafia, aho, ase, namaste, and thank you for watching Shadow of Wolves. In blessings to all of you, and blessings to your spirit guide, and blessings to a lot of you who have questions that need to be answered. So let's begin. What is a language of the spirits? What is the language of the Eggun? How do we begin this journey? First and foremost are your ancestors. When you develop the perfection of having a relationship with your ancestors, praying to them on a daily basis, or first of all, praying to God first, okay? Pray. When you do these prayers and you pray, you're developing a relationship with your spirits. Nobody's life is perfect. So some of you who are busy working and busy with whatever you're doing, do know, even if you say to your ancestors and spirits blessings and you pray how you were raised. If you were raised in the AME church, in the Catholic church, that's how you pray. If you were raised as a Buddhist, Muslim, if you are Jewish, that's how you pray. It doesn't matter. Your ancestors are your ancestors. We have to respect also the faiths and the religions that don't believe in spirits, or don't believe in archangels, or don't believe in saints. So those of you who come to this channel and who have been here and asked for readings and so forth, and respect the spirits that you're walking with and you're looking for the answers, will hear, search no more, because you need to know the truth about when you're attending. Let's start with Mesa. It's called Mesa Blanca, or prayer mass in English. When you are in your prayer mass, and say you're having this for your house, if all you know is English or French or Spanish, do know that your spirit guides are going to communicate with you based on the language that you speak, okay? Those of you who are developing the perfection of working with your spirit guides, do know that your Madama, Francisca, okay, your Madama, your main spiritual guide, if she is in your court, and if she comes down through you to speak to others after you're seasoned and developed for a couple of years, or however long it takes, a couple of months, do know that if she speaks English, respectfully, she will speak English. Why? Mounting and spiritual energies of people passing spirits it's not a Spanish religion. No. It is not a French religion. No. It is not an English religion. No. Originally, a lot of these different energies not only are venerated from Africa and Peru and different parts of the world where they're used to mounting spirits, even in India, and they all come down different. So do not be discouraged in the language that you speak. So the spiritual energy of a white table, and I have some books for those of you who will appreciate it, and those of you who are working with your white table. A lot of people get discouraged because they see pictures and so forth. No, this book, based on Allan Kardec, and you can also look at on Netflix for the movie, is going to help you to understand spiritualism, because there's a lot of energies in this book that speak very clearly. However, those of you who have a hard time in understanding that this came from French, this language came from French to Spanish to English, it's very difficult. I shared this, and my gosh, I don't know the author, but geez, you know how many people have bought this book after I shared it? So blessing. But I have to share it for you, because this is the book. When I am holding prayer masses and when I am holding misas, I speak in English. A lot of the songs that I do sing are in Spanish, because those who helped me to learn even more are from Puerto Rico in blessing, and from Cuba in blessing. So I've learned to sing those songs. And when I'm doing the prayers, and I share my prayers in the order of the Mesa and blessings to the person who also shared it with me, I want it to be appreciated because not everybody knows the order of prayer mass prayers and how to hold them. So when I do give them, it's something very, very special that has to be appreciated and respected, because I don't give it to just everybody. It's very delicate for you to hold a prayer mass. So why do we hold these prayer masses? We hold these prayer masses in honor of prayer, so good spirits and the energy of God can come down and protect that prayer mass. So now, when you don't understand a language, do ask, okay? Do ask when if you don't understand something, say, can you translate for me? It feels, and I have been there, it feels so odd when you're sitting there and you don't understand what everyone is saying. They're laughing and talking, you're just sitting there. So then ask. So this is why you, as a spiritualist, should practice and learn your prayers. Those of you who are speaking English, learn your prayers so that when you develop, say for example, some of you get scratched in Palo, we'll get into that. Some of you become Fiestas, and have a good relationship with the 21 divisions and with the Lua. So a lot of you will be very spiritual, or some of you are just very spiritual, and you're going to want to practice your prayers, and blessings to you. It is good for you to understand those prayers. So now, who comes down and how are your spirits and the language of your spirits being pulled in a prayer mass? Through the energy, your Madamas, your Franciscos, your, not in the Palo sector, your spirits that are on your white table that your godparent has taught you how to set up your table. I also have a video on this, an older video, and I will upload a new one because people need to know when you're setting up your table and you believe in this culture, you do know that your white table with your white sheet and so forth, those spirits that are working that table are working with your ancestors, okay? So those spirits are the same spirits that we have in prayer masses that often come down, and they come down full of light. Sometimes people pick up a bad spirit. It's called a causa, where they have one in them and they have to clean that person and break that energy, and that takes a lot of skill. This is nothing to play with. It's very, very serious. It needs to be respected, and you need to be patient, please, for those of you who are starting off. Now, what do we use in prayer masses? Prayer masses, we only use prayers. There should be no interference of no televisions, no radios, no phones, no nothing. It has to be very, very quiet. There's not a lot of walking around. If people use the bathroom, they put something in their chair and they're in prayer, because spirits are, when you're working with the dead and you're working with ancestors, not only are we talking very low and very slow for certain reasons, but there has to be quiet respect of time. If you don't know the songs, don't start putting on the TV, and that is just a lot of bad energy coming through. You sing what you have learned in the church, or you sing your Santissimo, or start practicing. Why? Because TVs, phones, all that stuff, that good spirits can't come through that way. It has to be very quiet. Just like when you're in church, when you grew up in church and you're going to the Catholic church, or you're from a Baptist church, we weren't allowed to have phones and playing the radio and TV. We had to let the pastor speak. We had to let the people stand up and sing their gospel or their hymns. It's the same energy. Now, your language is your language. I know someone, his Madama is so beautiful, and she has a southern twang. She speaks English, and my gosh, is a beautiful Madama. Let's move on. Let's talk now about fetes. Let's talk about fiestas and so forth. Different beautiful energies of what we call Franciscas. You could look on YouTube and Google that. There's different energies of gypsies. They say the term gypsies, people don't like it. Gitanas, those of Romani faith. Because I don't want to offend anybody, but we use the term gypsy. Those are highly respected, those spirits, and they're very elevated. They can come down and clean. They will speak Spanish, English. This is, once again, a universal. Everybody has a drop of blood of everything different. What doesn't go in a Mesa, I was in a beautiful Mesa, they had to put a certain things, because When we're using Chamalongo, that belongs to Palo, and some instances of 21 division, and Sanse, separate energy. So there was a division which was beautiful, but it does not, our gypsies and our white table spirits do not use chamalongos. Those are another language of the spirits. And when you are scratched, that's when you have rights to pick up those chamalongo, or when you receive 21 division. And we're going to get into that later on. Now, in understanding prayer masses and mesas, we don't throw cards on the Mesa table unless something comes up, and I've seen it with all blessing, it's okay. But we know everything is through mouth, through prayers, and what is being seen by the mediums. And we have to pray for the mediumship. Now, when you're in a fiesta, the same thing, the house is cleansed, and spirits come down, and they don't come down to hurt others. They come down to cleanse others and give understanding. Now, sometimes we have to have the language translated based on what the spirit is speaking. They could speak Spanish, they could speak English, they could speak French. They could speak whatever language they speak. We pray there's a translator that is able to. One time we had a fete with all blessing, and there was a Gede that came down, and this Gede spoke Creole, but some of us did not understand Creole, but got cleansed and got blessed. So there's different energies, but that was for the 21 divisions. So when you're having a fiesta, do not please disrespect the person's spirits. If they are not speaking Spanish, if they're not speaking Portuguese, because that person's spirits will know, and it's disrespectful. When I see a gypsy come down, I say blessings, or sometimes I say buena noche, because that particular gypsy may be speaking Spanish. Let's move on from the fiestas. Who is normally there? Sometimes there are, that I love so much, because you have people's Franciscas, their aunties, their uncles, ancient spirits that walk with them, that are being respectful, and that will talk to you and cleanse you and give you a remedy for whatever's going wrong with you. Continuing on. In going through, let's talk now about fetes. It's like the energy of drumming or blessing of the court of the 21 division. Oh, so beautiful. I have seen Candelo Serife come down speaking English, and that is okay too, to be able to translate to the people. What a blessing. The spirits speak any language, but based on the human being, if you're speaking in Mandarin, don't expect Candelo to say something in Mandarin if the spirit that law is not speaking Mandarin. I don't know what to tell you, but respect the energy of the law. So say, for example, I had Ezuli Dantor come down and talk to me in New Jersey. This woman is from Haiti. She speaks pure Creole, but she was able to give me her information in English. Beautiful. Oh my God. Beautiful. And she spoke to me and told me what I needed to know. And she spoke to others, her husband, and different people in the room. Ezuli Dantor. And some controversy, because there's always jealous people out there when you're able to mount spirit. They controvert, oh, Dantor's not there because, you know, she fought for Haiti and they cut out her tongue. Who are you to speak for Dantor? Who are you to speak for Candelo Serife? These are different, the energy of law that come down, and whoever the child of that law is, or in their case is different, because they can mount any law. They can speak. Who's to say what order they're coming down? Oh, so Legba, why is Legba here? Or why is, I don't know, Anaisa, here's the end of the night. They come down when they want to come down. Us humans, that's why a lot of them stop coming down, because we don't respect them. In blessings to the Tres Potencia, the great Queen Maria refused to come down for 50 years because she was disrespected by human beings. When she came through a caballo, it's called a horse, somebody that mounts. They disrespected her. So we must respect each and every spirit that comes down. Now, we talked about Mesas, Mesa Blanca, prayer masses. Sing and learn your gospel and learn your prayers. We spoke about the different fiestas and energies. Beautiful. We spoke about 21 division. Let's go into Palo. When the spirit is called Eggun comes down, they're very powerful and very, very strong. They need to be respected. Those of you who are scratch, you know how to greet them and you know how to respect them. It does not mean because they're not speaking in pure Congo language, but really that's Bantu. That's not there. Some of them don't even speak because they're so ancient. And our language is the Tower of Babel, where we're all over the place. That some of them I have seen where they don't communicate verbally. They speak to you through signs, through the dirt. Why through the dirt? Because that's where the energy of Palo is, outside with all of nature and all of the beautiful things. So the energy of Palo spirit is extremely strong. So in respect to Palo spirit, now say for example that child is a child of Sarabanda or Kubayende or however they're speaking to you. They don't have to speak at all. Or if they are speaking, it is from the pot that they're born from. And that particular energy of that Eggun, that Palo spirit, is going to speak to you in the language that they know, either in English, in Spanish, in Bantu, whatever, French. People are getting scratched that are supposed to be around the world. Never disrespect or be jealous of someone else's spirit, because the spirit will come back and tell that person. Anytime I see a spirit, I've seen Lucero come down and actually really, really hit the ground and do certain things. And I've seen it. Who am I to say, okay, this is not a Lucero? The language of Palo belongs to, once again, to Africa. Belongs to the Congo region, and then it venerated around the world. So when you see a Lucero, a Sarabanda, a Kubayende, Sieterayo, whoever's coming down, you need to respect that spirit or that person, because you're not the judge to say they're not speaking Spanish. So no, because Hispanic language and English language, once again, belong to those who put slaves in captivity. So the slaves were forced to speak certain languages, and it is not a Hispanic language, it's not an English language, it is Bantu, and it is pure from the Congolese, and it needs to be respected. They really, really love when they're outside and we're doing a Palo drumming for them outside. They work with, some of them don't even talk. They just throw, and they use the chamalongos but through their children, because they are scratch. My son is even crowned Chango, and he doesn't use chamalongo. He has to learn. People who are scratch use the chamalongo. There are divine tools, for example, of the Orisha. I don't have it here because I plan on work. Say, for example, the shells. When we are crowned, we can throw the shells. When we're not crowned, we're not supposed to throw the shells and speak for Orisha. We speak through Orisha, through the shells. Congo speaks through Congo, through the chamalongos. And there's a division of the very, very powerful Petro side, that is Congo. And they are given the chamalongos when they are ordained. And Sansei too. That's according to that associate in that house. Yes. Because they are working with the energies of 21 division. So some of the Congo spirits even throw bones, and they do certain things right there outside, and they're putting certain languages and FEMAs on the floor. All of that needs to be respected. We cannot any longer have what we call a colonizer personality, in saying that this belongs to one race and one set of people. African Americans, there's even Chinese, they have been here. There's even people from around the world, indigenous people that are coming through, that have mixed blood, that have Cherokee and African blood, and some Lakota blood, African blood, and they want to know their roots. I refuse to scare them and push them away. They come down with their spirit and one of their ancestors, because they are speaking English or they're speaking in another language that we don't understand. So example, if we go all the way to Trinidad and Tobago and we're not accepted because we don't speak the language, even though it is English, but it's, that to be disrespected, we wouldn't like that. Or say, for example, we go to Africa, we will want to be welcome too. Same way we have to welcome everybody else and welcome everybody's spirit. So let's go over it. The language of the spirits is what? What? The language of the spirits are your spirits and your language. Got it? The language of your spirits is you don't got to prove nothing to nobody and pull your hair out or do something crazy to prove that you're there. If they don't believe that, you leave that between them. When you get scratched, your madre agua comes down. That's the language of your spirits. Naturally, if you're not scratched and you're Francisco or somebody comes down, she speaks French or English, that's your spirits. This is an African religion. Then it's pulled from the different, that's why when we have the flags of Poland, we have everything. We have Don Tor is very big in Poland, but she has another name I can't pronounce. Lady of, starts with a CZ, and I don't care. It's fine. Look it up. It's the Polish Catholic Church. So it's universal. But when it comes to Congo and that region, that's African. You can have a beautiful Celtic spirit and she will come down and cleanse and talk to everybody. That's your Celtic spirit. She may be from Ireland and needs to be respected. Colonizer ways and personalities are no longer accepted. I make sure when I'm doing my Mesa that everybody you mount to with your spirit and it's respect in the white table and she's speaking French or she's speaking Dutch, she is respected because we call on the light of God when we're working on the white table. And it's not about pride, envy, jealousy. It's not about always mounting your spirits. Many of you have indigenous spirits that are meant to journey, and you work through telepathic communication with your spirits. It doesn't mean someone is more powerful because they're able to come down with their spirit. It simply means that everybody has a gift and you all have a gift. So do understand that. Study and read and start listening to the prayers, not out of pride to prove a point, because you will not get anywhere in trying to prove a point. You have to elevate. You have to complete what your spirits did not. You have to elevate. You cannot be in the third dimension all the time and not move up to the fifth. I'm making these videos because a lot of you are earthbound. You really don't know what you need to elevate to. There's much more out there than we work first with our ancestors, the light of God, the spirits, the Orisha, the Lua, different energies. But guess what? There's a long way to go. A lot of you are simply star seeds that have bursted all over the world, and you need to pull yourself back together because time is of the essence. When you stay in the fifth dimension, bad spirits can't get up there. So stay positive. Do not feel prideful, envy, jealousy. Try your best. It's a human character. They will pull you. But you got this. You got this. And keep moving forward, up and up and up for yourself. Because you got a long way to go. We're at this level. There's higher elevated lessons to learn. I did this video for a reason. Ache. And blessings to all of you. And in blessings to your spirit guides. And in blessings to your ancestors. And blessings.